Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 14th of November for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to outline the collective energies that are going to impact upon us all, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in much greater detail. Now, the Sun continues in the sign of Scorpio this week, but Mercury and Venus are going to be leaving this sign and moving into the sign of Sagittarius, triggering the first blush of Sagittarius season, which of course we'll pick up furthermore next week when the Sun arrives in the sign of the Archer too. But the significance of Mercury and Venus moving together is that I feel that it's going to be a much freer energy that they bring in. But that's not going to be particularly apparent right at the start of this week, because on Monday, Saturn is obstructing or blocking or inhibiting the energy of the Sun. And of course, the intensity of that total lunar eclipse of the 8th of November continues to pour its energy into all our circumstances in a very disruptive way, particularly around our sense of values, our connections, our sense of self-worth, but also around money. So the transition of Mercury and Venus into Sagittarius can bring some levitation. But of course, technically, Mercury is debilitated in the sign of Sagittarius, but I think it's one of the weakest debilitations. And in fact, I feel that Mercury can thrive in this sign, despite being opposite Gemini, which it governs, square in Virgo, which it also governs, and of course in a square with Pisces, where it's also detrimented. So we have an opportunity to use the knowledge of Sagittarius and the thinking and the intellect of Mercury in order to transform our situation. So information is going to be important. But with Venus in the mix as well, when it comes to our relationships or even our attitude to money, the truth of our situations is vital. So the higher truth. We've been going through such an intense period collectively, and the quarter moon, which occurs on Wednesday in the sign of Leo, rather emphasizes the dilemmas that we have. You know, at some level we want to enjoy, we want to connect, we want to mix and mingle, but we've had to become much more aware of some very powerful and intense energies which have not been particularly easy. But you know, through the prism of intensity, there can also be the alchemy of positivity. And that happens this week from Tuesday, through to Sunday, when the Sun forges an awesome link to Pluto. So if we can see where change can be a good thing and we embrace it and don't resist it, then our circumstances can really be changed in a very positive way. Also, the Sun from Thursday through to Sunday is in a terrific link with Jupiter, of course, now travelling forwards in the other sign it governs of Pisces. So this water trine is wonderful for letting emotions flow in a positive way. Also, Jupiter and Pluto are in a sextile all week, which is one of the most potentially fortunate of all planetary influences. It is true that Mars continues to retrograde. It is true it continues to be in a square with the equally retrograding Neptune. And so information can continue to be distorted, or it can be tricky to really get to the nub of certain matters. But I think generally this is a week that can see us opening up a little bit, or trying to make the most of the scorpionic energies which have been so powerful recently, because obviously Pluto is the ruler, the modern ruler of the sign of Scorpio, and that's like a lightning rod to both the Sun in Scorpio and of course also to Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. So if we're open to evolution, transformation, moving forwards, then the bubbly, bright and very sociable conjunction between Venus and Mercury can bring some levitation to bear. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, please check out my special package, which gives you the rest of this year free in terms of the forecast, all of 2023, but based on your time, date and place of birth. This information completely unique to you, as will be your chart. And in my package with 30% off, you can also get your life roadmap, your character analysis, which can help you to understand some repeating patterns in your life, but also seize opportunities with greater conviction. Please see the link below. And if you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. But if you'd like to leave any comments and interact with me, I try very hard to answer all of them, so please feel very welcome to do that. And to all my ongoing viewers, thank you so much for all your support. So Taurus, your week commencing the 14th of November forecast is really fascinating around your links to others. Now, of course, there's been potential turbulence around relationships due to the total lunar eclipse being very close to Uranus in your sign, which has shook things up. Maybe it's given you an opportunity to look at all sorts of ties in a fresh way, to reappraise, to give yourself a little bit of distance, to try to understand what the reality of some of your involvements or investment of your time and affections really means. But now I feel as you've let all this energy work through you, you can start to see the opportunities. And one of the opportunities can be where you can push to become more invested in a situation or with a person where it feels right. And that's because Venus is diving deep into your 8th house. With Mercury joining on Thursday, it's possible that this can trigger some kind of financial help, or there could be some kind of reward. Now, it may be that it's a pension or insurance payout. Perhaps if you're in a business, there can be some way that a relationship, a partnership, or some kind of collective, cooperative push actually can be very good for you. Now, of course, in astrology, there are always conflicting energies, and Mars in your 2nd house of everyday money is still being impacted by Neptune, the planet of dreams. So you do need to be really realistic. You can't be too idealistic. But Jupiter in your 11th house, the sign or the sector of your situation to do with your future, but also people you can be connected to in a positive way, that's in a marvellous link with Pluto and also the Sun. So the relationships that are really valuable to you, that are worthy of you, that are the solid citizens, or maybe it's one particular person that you're wanting to get much closer to, that tie can really be lit up by a lot of goodness as this week goes on. The only thing to watch out for, I think, is being a little bit extravagant with money, with Mars still in a quincunx with Pluto. And if you're tempted to splash out and change things up because your relationship situation is a little bit more challenged, what I would say is that relationships work in so many different ways. We can build up alliances quite subtly over time. They don't need to necessarily manifest themselves at the speed of light. So whether you're single or involved or looking to build up better contacts in your business or in the company you work with, this is a week that gives you a lot of enriching possibilities, but you still have to work with them. And with Pluto in the mix, that requires some kind of transformation. And of course, being a fixed sign, a degree of stability and continuity is something that you often crave for. But at the moment, I think staying exactly as you are is probably not an option.